Hi folks, I'm Ian Baker, and today we are going to go over the 2020 Coleman Light LX 2125BH. This is a great floor plan because it's somewhat lightweight, a little bit smaller. You don't have any slide outs in this floor plan, but they make up for it by giving you more space with the versatile Murphy bed up front, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. It is a bunk model. You'll see the double bunks back here, so this is a great one for a family. If you're looking to get into camping, maybe upgrade from what you currently have, this is definitely one you'll want to check out. A couple things I really like about it, things I think they nailed, especially on the floor plan side. One of them is this right here, and that is the fact you have a campside dinette. I love when manufacturers are able to, or when they do this, because essentially this is the view you want, right? You don't want to look out at your neighbors. You want to look at your campsite, and this allows you to do that. So as you're having your morning cup of coffee, eating your eggs and bacon, you're looking out at your campsite. If you need some additional sleeping space, this does drop down into a bed. Now, mind you, it's not a huge bed by any stretch, but it will work for a child, or if you have like a pack and play, something like that. Pretty standard table. It has the pedestals. Like all of them, it's not the most stable thing in the world, right? You can kind of see it wiggles a little bit, so don't use it for support. But as long as you kind of, again, don't put your elbows on it or push too hard, it'll be just fine. As far as storage, they don't have any doors or anything. I kind of wish they did. It's kind of a fail for me. I personally like easier access storage. If we take off the cushions here, you'll see, pretty standard that they have your finger hole there. So you can grab that guy, lift it up, and just as you'd expect, you have storage underneath there. Not a huge deal, but again, I do prefer having an easier access method. A lot of times a drawer is super handy. If you can open it up, you have a drawer you can pull out to access that stuff. But again, without the slide, I know you don't have a ton of room, and so maybe, that's why they didn't put it in there. As we take a look up top, you'll see pretty standard storage here. I do like the brushed nickel pulls for a couple reasons. One, I just like the way they look. And two, it's a lot easier to open, right? You can kind of put several fingers in there to open it up versus when you just have like a knob and it's two fingers. There's some manufacturers that use knobs and you put them back there, like I can't fit my fingers behind them and it hurts. Not the case here. Again, minor things, but I do appreciate having actual pulls. You'll see your multimedia center over to this side. Nothing too terribly fancy, but the nice thing about it is it does have an HDMI port on there. So if you need to plug in some auxiliary equipment, you have the capability to do it. Mind you, you don't have a great place to set it, like, you have to put a DVD player in here and have a cord running out or something. Maybe drill a hole through, I don't know. But the option is there. Over to the side, if you want TV, this is where you'll have your TV, mount it there. Hookups, pretty standard stuff. Your booster and everything is right there. Your furnace will be, or the thermostat for the furnace rather, is located here. Now this unit does have a roof-mounted AC, 13.5 kBTU on there, but the controls for it are on the AC itself. So if you need to regulate the AC, you do it on the ceiling. If you need to regulate the heat, you'll use this thermostat here. In the back corner are your two double-over-double bunks, 300-pound weight capacity. You have the Teddy Bear Bunk series, nice and soft. If we lift this up, so a couple things. One, storage. It is hinged. You have your little finger hole here. Just, I would personally probably take a file and just kind of file this out a little. I mean, they did a decent job, but I don't want to splinter when I'm opening it. Maybe put like a plastic shroud or something in there. Anyway, when you open it up, you can see there you have decent storage. The back side is actually normally screwed down. It looks like we unscrewed it, but if you need to access your water heater, that is where you will access it at. It is a separate panel. Notice, if you can see in there, Sam, I'm not sure, but notice how it does have the bypass valves for the water heater on there. So for winterization purposes, you do have those bypass valves. That way you can winterize it without filling your water heater with glycol. Pretty big deal. And in the back, the bathroom, foot flush lever toilet. I'll take a seat here. I am 6 foot tall. Gotta be honest, it's a little tight, right? They kind of put it on an angle so you can kind of fit a foot into this little, I don't know, angle here, I guess. But again, if I'm sitting here, it's if you're a taller person, your knees are going to be jammed in here, your feet will be crammed in here. It is just a little tight. Probably can't sit here and read a novel, but can do the job. As far as shoulder space, more than enough, no issues. A little bit of storage underneath there, perfect for your extra toilet paper, black tank chemicals, storage to the side. Pretty standard countertop, sink, electrical outlet, mirrored medicine cabinet up top. I do like the fact that it's an actual wood cabinet, not plastic, a little bit nicer looking. Vent fan up top, and then a tub shower. I'll stand in here as well. And just to show you folks, again, I'm 6 foot tall. You can see I do have to duck down a little bit. Can't stand straight up. So again, you know, maybe if you're 5, I don't know, 5'10", something like that, you can probably stand in here. But otherwise, you know, just know that you will have to duck down. The nice thing about it, though, is the fact that it is a tub. So if you have little ones, you are able to give them a bath in here. But, you know, I know that it's a lighter weight unit, trying to keep everything low so you don't have the wind drag when you're towing it down the road. But personally, it is a fail for me. Being 6 foot tall, I feel like it's a fairly average height, and I would like to be able to stand up in my shower. To the side of the refrigerator, back out in the main living area, you will see a big pantry space. Now, this is kind of a versatile space here, right? You have some options. You can use it as pantry. You can use it as linen closet. If you need extra storage space for the kids' clothes, you can use it for that too. So it is definitely a needed storage space because you do have needs for all those things. So I am very glad they put that in there. They nailed it there. And then coming down a little bit further, or up rather, I guess you would say, you have the Dinette fridge freezer combo. Plenty of space in here. You can see the cutout for some larger items. Crisper drawer there on the bottom. A little bit of storage up top as well. Moving into the kitchen itself, I think they did a pretty good job. You have the upgraded thermofoil countertop, so you don't have the T-mold or anything that pops off around the corners. You don't have to worry about water getting down in there. Because of the style of countertop, it's kind of like a pseudo-solid surface, so it does allow you to undermount the sink like this, giving you a much cleaner look. And if you put a cover on here, then you have all that as usable prep space as well. High-rise faucet makes it a little bit easier to wash and rinse dishes. Not a pull-out or anything, you know, pretty simplistic, but it does at least give you the height. And then over to this side is your 2-burner recessed cooktop. Again, this gives you prep space. I think this is very important to be able to have that. Without it, you know, you just don't have any countertop. So you kind of have to utilize the prep space here, the prep space here. Fold it up, that kind of doubles as a backsplash. You know, the big piece of glass there. They do have this kind of faux tile in there, that you know, kind of that gray subway tile look, which I think is pretty nice. And it looks like it'll be pretty easy to clean too. It's pretty smooth on there. If we drop down below, a couple of drawers, gotta have them in your kitchen. This one has 2 full extension ball bearing drawers. Furnace there, keep your toes nice and warm. Direct vent furnace. Camper this size, more than likely that is all you will need. And then underneath that, you will see there's actually pretty good storage here for pots and pans, which I really like. A lot of times in these smaller travel trailers, you don't have any storage for pots and pans. Not the case here. You have your hood, light and fan, microwave, storage up top with your frosted glass on there. And then up in the very front is the Murphy bed. So this is generally where kind of makes it or breaks it, right? Sam, thoughts? Murphy bed? Love it? Hate it?
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah? All right. Somewhere in between. So here's the thing, right? Murphy beds, in my opinion, it goes one of 2 ways. They're either functional and they don't look as good, or they look great but they take longer to set up. And that is the case here, right? They did a good job. You'll see you don't have like a mattress or anything hanging out. Kind of creates this nice, decent looking backdrop. But it is a trifold sofa, which we'll see in just a moment. So to make the bed, you have your standard jackknife here. Gives you great seating space. You have storage underneath, which is, you know, crucial. So you're not losing like an underbed storage. You have locks on both sides. Undo the locks. You have this little footboard. This guy drops down just like so, right over the sofa. Note that most of the time it won't touch the floor. Sometimes it might, but you know, over time, that's pretty common. But once you put the weight on it, you know, once you're sleeping in it, it'll drop right down. But as I mentioned, the disadvantage here is the fact you have a trifold sofa. Problem with the trifolds, it's a little bit tougher to have like your sheets and your blankets and stuff on there. It just doesn't fold up as nice. And of course, you know, you have extra gapping. But again, it does look nice and it gives you great seating options. Obviously fold that back up, put it up and lock it in place when you're done. On both sides, mirrored wardrobe, storage up top, hanging rod down below. And you will also see that you have electrical outlets there. So if you need to plug in cell phone, CPAP machine, whatever at night, you have the capability to do that. Now that we've seen the insides, take a quick look at some of the outside features on the 2020 Coleman Light LX 2125BH. Starting off up front, you will see this one comes with a powered tongue jack, which makes it super easy to hook up and disconnect from your tow vehicle. Rather than having to crank it up, you simply flip a rocker switch. It also has a light for added visibility at night and manual override in the rare event the motor fails. Behind that, two 20-pound propane tanks with a cover, and you'll see a little bit further back we have the rails for your battery. You also have diamond etch plating on the front here to protect the front end from rocks and debris that get thrown up by your tow vehicle. And as we come around to the side, you will see that this one is a fiberglass unit. This is not hung fiberglass, this is vacuum bond laminated. Very strong aluminum structure in there, which is part of what helps make it lightweight. Quick tip for you, you can usually tell if it's hung glass or not. If you push on the side, if it's hung fiberglass, then it will kind of bow in a little bit. You'll see this one is very solid. That's how you know it's laminated. Right up front, you will see solar prep. If you want solar, simply buy portable panels, plug it in right there. Those portable panels do have the controller built in. Everything's already pre-wired, pretty simple, and that will give you a trickle charge on your battery. You open up the pass-through door, you will see the pass-through compartment, decent size there. Again, you can see that aluminum framing I was referring to. But, you know, good size pass-through. You have a taller opening there, not quite as wide as some of the Coleman units, but because of that Murphy bed. But again, it does give you some extra height there. You also see this one has power stabilizer jacks. Bear in mind that is not power level, that is not auto level. You still want to level it out with blocks. But once you have it leveled, you can simply, again, flip these rocker switch. You have these power stabilizer jacks. Those will go down and, just like the name implies, stabilize the RV. So as you're walking around in it, your trailer isn't rocking. You will also see the power awning up top, LED light on there. You have a couple speakers. Those are connected to that multimedia center inside. Foldable step, 2 steps, super easy to get into. You have the grab handle right there to give you some extra control when entering the RV. Electrical outlet in case you need to plug anything in. Coming around to the back, covered hinge. You don't have a bunch of rust coming down your door. This one is also magnetic. It's a magnetic catch. Put it up just like so. And one of the great things about a bunk model is the opportunity for an outside kitchen. So you'll see storage up top, electrical outlet, 2-burner cooktop. Pretty standard stuff there. You know, decent countertop, locks out here. Now this one is a T-mold. You know, it's not the thermal foil that we had inside. But, you know, again, it does the trick and it has that same nice look. You will see right outside is your little refrigerator there. Perfect spot for some of your condiments, beverages. It's what it's for. Coming around the back, square tubular bumper with end cap, so you have a spot in which you can store your sewer hose. The back control for your rear stabilizers, the front one, of course, for the front too. Dropping down, you'll also see this one has a propane quick connect. Now, that is intended for this 2-burner cooktop here, but if you have a grill or something you want to hook up, by all means, go for it. You will also see that you have a spare tire mounted on that bumper, so, you know, if you ever need to get to it, it is very easy to access. Right up top, this one has backup camera prep, so if you want backup camera, having the prep there does make it easier to install, meaning it'll save you money on labor. Take a look on the off-door side. You can take a look right down at your termination. You'll see your black tank valve, gray tank valve. Bear in mind, folks, this one is not equipped for winter camping, because as you can see, you have exposed valves there. City water inlet will be located right there. Cable inlet, a little bit further up. Your fresh tank fill is there in case you're going somewhere you don't have city water hookup. And lastly, 30-amp power cord is tucked right inside there. Open it up, plug it in, and you have power to this bad boy. All right, folks, that concludes the tour on the inside and the outside. But now it's time for Sam's Hot Take. Sam, give me your hot take.
Oh,
go.
There it is. Hot take overall. I think it's a solid build on here. I like Coleman. I think Coleman makes good units overall. Like I said, the one thing that would steer me away is the Murphy bed. Not a fan, never have been. I like the bunks though. I'd probably just sleep on the bunks. Just leave it as a couch the whole time.
Yeah, I like that. I get that. I kind of agree with you, right? I like Murphy beds to an extent. This one's not my favorite. I'd prefer one that's a little more functional over one that looks a little bit nicer, but it is a lightweight bunk model, so it has some wins, has some losses. That wraps it up, guys. Again, this is the 2020 Coleman Light LX 2125BH. If you are interested in this model, you'd like price and availability, simply click on the link in the description. Also in the comments section, let me know what you think they nailed, what they failed, or if you were designing this RV, what you would change. Thanks again for watching, folks. I'm Ian Baker, and let's go camping.